Who's ready to get higher? Higher learning, that is. Okay, y'all, today we're going to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And here are 10 things that you may not know about him. Okay, y'all, we're going to jump right in with something that blew my mind when I heard about it. So did y'all know that Dr. Martin Luther King allegedly, and you hear me say allegedly, attempted to commit suicide at the age of 12? According to biography reports, Martin Luther King Jr. allegedly tried to kill himself when he was only 12 years old by throwing himself off of a second-story window. Thing is that he went to a parade and he didn't want to go to it, and his grandmother ended up passing away while he was at the parade, and he felt so much guilt that he reportedly threw himself off a second-story window. That's crazy to think about, right? And this is number 2. College at 15. Yeah, you heard me right. Dr. King skipped 2 years of school and graduated at the age of 15. He attended Morehouse from 1944 to 1948, where he got his BA in sociology. Now that is pretty dope, because at the age of 19 years old, he was already setting the bar pretty high. Think about that. On to number 3. He was born Michael. So I don't know if a lot of you all knew this, but Martin Luther King Jr. was actually born Michael. Yes, in 1934, his father embarked on a religious journey around the world. Well, the trip took him to Germany, which at that time, it had been just 1 year since Hitler took power. The trip to Germany had a profound effect on him. As he toured the senior king, he gained a great respect for German monk and theologian Martin Luther, whose 95 theses challenged the Catholic Church and ultimately split Western Christianity. Now that is dope. It ultimately changed the whole religion. Well, when he came back home, he decided to change him and his son's name in honor of the leader, from Michael to Martin. Check that out. On to number 4. He met his wife from a phone call. Yes, y'all heard me right. So January 1952, Coretta and Martin met in Boston. And this is how they met, y'all. Martin Luther King Jr. was having a conversation with one of his friends who was also a student in Atlanta at the time, Mary Powell, and he asked her, and I quote, "Do you know any nice, attractive young ladies?" She said yes, gave him Coretta's number, and the rest is history. Now that is a dope story. On to number 5. They spent their wedding night in a funeral home. This one tripped me out, y'all. They got married in 1953, and at that time, honeymoon suites were unavailable to African Americans. Because of this, the couple spent their wedding night in a funeral home that was owned by a friend. Now that is a little heartbreaking. Number 6. Did y'all know at the time he was the youngest to receive a Nobel Peace Prize? Yes, y'all heard me right. Martin Luther King Jr. was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent activism against racism and prejudice in the United States in 1964. So at the age of 35 at that time, he was the youngest person ever to receive an award. That's pretty dope. Number 7. He survived an assassination attempt. In September of 1958, literally a decade before his assassination, a 42-year-old black woman approached him as he was signing copies of his book, Stride Towards Freedom, then suddenly just started stabbing him in the chest. It narrowly missed his aorta and basically almost took his life. He was just lucky to be alive. On to number 8. He was arrested 29 times. Now, this is something that blew my mind. While fighting for civil rights, Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested 29 times, y'all. The charges against him, they did vary, including organized protests, disobeying police officers, but the one that drove me had to be driving 5 miles over the speed limit. Now, they were really giving this man all the problems. They just were giving him any problems they can come up with. Number 9. So Dr. King won a Grammy, but he won it after his death. That was one of the surprising things for me. I did not know that the civil rights activist won a Grammy. But yes, he did. In 1971, he was awarded a Grammy for Best Spoken Word recording of his speech, Why I Oppose the War in Vietnam. Number 10. It was shocking for me to find out that his mother was killed by the bullet as well. So King's death in 1968 was far from the only tragedy that his family suffered. In 1974, a gunman killed his mother while she was playing the organ at their Baptist church in Atlanta. That is a very, very sad fact and just heartbreaking. So that's all I have for you all today. But one thing I did notice reading about Dr. King was there was a lot more than just 10 facts. So if you all find this video interesting and you want to see a part 2, comment below. But also let me know if y'all knew some of this stuff, because it was interesting to me to know and learn about it. But I think it would be more interesting to know that other people already knew and that maybe I just wasn't taught. So leave a comment below. Let me know if this was interesting, if you would like more like it. And I hope you all have an amazing day. And remember, life is dope if you make it.